to you about our struggle with the virus, and I think you should allow mask. The television show you the other parts of
on from a distance, too fearful to approach the grave.
People are so afraid of this virus, and one would say, oh.
There are hundreds of bodies to bury. Like mother of four, Joyce Money, who died and many residents were clearly
help it, but people, they are fasting, they are close to each other. I'm very worried.
This is terrible. Sick people are getting sicker. Some are dying on their legs, you know. It's hurting. It's hurting really. You just wonder, what's our people doing about this?
The authorities had months to plan, but the pandemic seems to have taken them by surprise. When protective suits ran out at one hospital, nurses were given raincoats instead, and there are want to be identified.
How many are missing at the moment?
You can say plus minus 30 nurses, but last week, one from casualty and rising.
He works at a designated COVID treatment facility called Livingston Hospital. These pictures were sent to us by staff members.
Tell me about the cleanliness of the hospital.
Dirty there.
It's dirty.
Medical waste, you find it on the floor, and they are
forced to select a small number for treatment.
Uncle.
You have a rough idea of how many referrals?
Other 75% is unfortunately not going to...
You can't treat?
We're not going to get a bed.
The provincial government has been given a supersized field hospital. This one-time car factory, but there are only the government doesn't have the people to run this facility, and they've only just started to recruit them. So I asked how long it was going.
Let's hope that they do get staff in place.
The Premier of this province admits the health system is overwhelmed, and he's called on military personnel to assist. But the people of the region are scared, and there is little confidence in those who have been appointed to protect them. John Sparks, Sky News, Port Elizabeth.
I think we also need to remember that South Africa got its first cases quite early, and it's in a later stage of development of this pandemic. And the disease, when it came into South Africa first, tended to come into seeing that acceleration. But it's not accelerating any faster than many other countries in Eastern and Southern Africa, all over Africa. In fact, the South Africa numbers may be large, but they've only increased about 30%. The numbers are small, 57%. Is we need to take what is happening, much more support to community-based interventions, and much more support to improving clinical pathways.
The awful reality of coronavirus. A tube's being inserted down his nose to relieve air and fluid in his abdomen. The medical team's facing multiple challenges every day, and now in Texas, a surge in infections, which many believe is the cost of lifting lockdown early. Coronavirus kills you, he tells us. For Elias Rubio, even survival feels like death.
Let's go in.
This hospital in Houston has set up isolation pods with negative air pressure to seal off the contamination. The number of cases in Texas has nearly tripled in 2 weeks, and they're expected to soar again after Independence Day celebrations, with the doctors frantic about how they'll cope.
Because I don't have enough beds for you. Let's just put it that way, okay? I don't have enough. This mass gathering, you have the potential of dying yourself or killing somebody else.
And it only takes meeting one infected person. Utterly critical of the Texas governor for ending the stay-at-home order.
When you're staying at home, you're isolated. There's better management. So we got screwed.
Every health worker has a photograph of it between wards, requires derobing and disposing of the old clothes. Their rigorous hygiene control is part of a battle ethos against the virus.
It's starting to get more. That's classic. That's classic COVID.
With the chief medic determined he won't be beaten by it.
I don't know how they're still alive.
Medics are trying everything. They've devised one treatment here by mixing steroids, vitamins and anticoagulants, and they're getting results. This is the cocktail of drugs which the doctors at this hospital have been giving their coronavirus patients, and which they say is responsible for an astonishing 96% success rate. It costs just $100 a day, and they believe it's going to turn the corner in this fight against the deadly virus. They're going to need it to work, with record numbers of infections daily in Texas and grim warnings to other countries not to make the same mistakes as them.
But a lot of people are going to die being ignorant, and ignorance is never a defense. So they're going to die. And they're going to be made in Britain, England, Africa, wherever, if they don't take this serious.
Even knowing the risks is no absolute guarantee. Tana Ingraham was a nurse in this ICU a week ago, but was infected by a patient and is now under the care of her colleagues.
If you don't hug your family member, like right then.
The doctors here have opened a new wing for more coronavirus patients, and the next few weeks are going to be critical. Alex Crawford, Sky News in
for coronavirus. Brazil now has the second highest number of cases and deaths in the world after the USA. Mr. Bolsonaro has been repeatedly dismissive of the threat posed by the virus and has said that lockdowns have a more damaging effect than the pandemic itself.
Brazil's graveyards are another number in the country's shocking statistics. Tens of thousands of people are falling ill every day.
Block the droplets on which it rides. Secondly, keep social distance. Don't semberera, don't be near, let's not be near. Utampika. Thirdly, touch your nose, don't touch your mouth with unclean hands. Because those are the only three entry points to the body. In fact, this disease is a bit easier to deal with than some of the other diseases. And then fourthly, clean the surfaces, because it can remain on the surface, the tables and so on. So this is how we advised you. Disease. The few who get infected were able, or who got infected in the case of Uganda, were able to be assisted to fight the virus because there were few. There were not many. Since we started, it's almost 4 months now. We have had only a total of 1,000 and I think 60. I will give the figure later. Only those. And because there were so many hospital beds which are not used. You saw in the films here, many parts in the world don't have beds. All the beds are full. These people are speaking in English because you like to speak English. So there you are. If you were speaking in English, I would be worried that you didn't understand. But they were speaking in your language. So, many parts, that's what they were saying in your language, English language. Because of the firm steps we took, that's why much less health workers were able to. Now, because of that, I want to congratulate you, the Uganda. By yesterday, 20th, had proved positive. Only 1,072. 4 months. People don't see their family, they are there in the health workers. Because I checked. So unfair, the carelessness of the public and those who push the public to be careless. Since this virus many spreads like many viruses do, by some of the measures like we are telling you today. And those ones include avoiding crowding. You know, the people they have at home, it is easy to follow them up. So we said the factories later on can even, factory workers can go home, come and work and go home because they are traceable. Then on the social scientifically, shops, but also the shopping malls were allowed to operate. Now, because of that, 900 and something, more than 900 of them have been healed and gone away, and nobody has died. Finished, then we move. So after we have finished the other activity, the ones that I talked about, like the restaurants, the shopping malls, then I said you study these others. now and the US that they advanced. That's meant that does not respect nature is part of the problem. I never use air conditioning. I think the air conditioning in your government house, I switched it off long ago. So that air conditioning is very dangerous because it is the one which is circulating the virus. Everybody must put on masks. Everybody, the shop assistants, the shoppers must all put on masks. Enough toilets. Enough toilets. If you have got an arcade which does not have enough toilets, we shall close it permanently. Because there is no reason why you should create a disease-causing unit in the town here. If you are looking for money, then look for money safely. And paying for going to the toilet, because that was the big issue. I was told one time they were selling Chinese. When you go to, I was somewhere, and the Chinese in Kapeka told me, and he says there is a good market. He builds a factory here. Jobs for the Chinese children in China. And then you are crying here that about Japanese. We are now being sold here in Uganda. That's how, after independence, he came and set up a factory, the UG. And because of that, his answer was to set up a factory. But our people, the answer is Okusaka indefinitely. This is not acceptable. That group of people are breeders. They are bleeding us, taking blood out of us to give to other people. So anyway, those are arcades. But the other day I spoke to one of the saloon people. And face shields for the operators, the surgeons. To Indian. It's quite a science. It's quite a science. So they will put on face shields. They will then there will be temperature guns to check the temperature of everybody for the operators. So those specialists in hair science, they will have to have, if you have got a number of them, they have distance between themselves. And then the laboratories, I was not sure that we could find a solution. Because the border, yeah, these are two people. One doesn't affect the other one. But you must also have border alinokuandika buli musabaze yenna gwasabaza bakwete kusabaza. When the passenger goes, you sanitize the seat with a sanitizer. And they discuss with the providing radios who are meeting this afternoon with the Minister of Education and the Minister of Finance. Some money for the 9 million. On both the vaccine, not both. They are working on the vaccines, on the diagnostics, and on the treatment. Or what if the president support the body, to support the body? Then we shall have no worry. Let's give schools. But the private schools have got particular problems. The private schools, private institutions. You know, these ones brought by the learners. So they really have problems. And yet, there are people who are there in the private schools. The ones in the pre-primary, in the primary, in the secondary, in the tertiary. This is not to count other jobs, cleaners, what have you. So therefore, really the government cannot ignore, just keep aloof and say, so we are going to study these loans. What can we do to about the loans? Which are really exploiters of borrowers. We shall study. They're supposed to contribute to anything, but this one can really be suspended. You cannot say they contribute when they were not earning. I think when they were not earning salaries, these young Ugandans are not getting paid now. But when I look at the number, they are so big, it's not a small amount of money. So what can be done? We are also going to discuss that. Because if there are 350,000, even if you are per person, that's 175 billion for 1 month. 1 billion of the budget of Uganda, these young Ugandans. Does the government pay them a quota? Some of the private of these education institutions are what can we do about rent? I think there we can only encourage the landlords to be reasonable, but I wouldn't like to really to go into that to say we pay for you or what, because this is something definite which can. And the microfinance, I would direct microfinance center to give loans to the staff circles, so that they can access that money and build themselves. Even me, I'll contribute 2 billion shillings to the circle of the private schools teachers. I'm trying to look for things which one can do without to be like the woman who tried to be praised by her husband, an old person. you come and like carry on my back because I love you so much. You come and carry on my back, an old person. So the man came and tried to, the grinding stone. So I don't know, it's possible, like the NSSF, like this one we can do. And we shall also see how we can, because they are, the private schools have done a good job. The foreign countries, I don't want to, but than wealth, health is better than wealth. So the airport. So I'd like to encourage Ugandans, when we're having a crisis like this, it's like a test. It's like a test. I think God brought this to test us, to see whether we are people who that because you are looking for money, you don't care whether people die or not. I cannot agree with you. Fortunately, I am also an economic actor. I'm not an idol. And we cattle keepers, like for instance, a disease called foot and mouth. When it comes, they put us under quarantine. Like we were under quarantine for 3 years. Because some cows came from Tanzania and we were put under quarantine. And we couldn't sell milk, we couldn't sell beef. But we had to accept, because you see the logic is, if you don't quarantine, these cows will go and infect other cows. Not human beings. If you have to, kills chicken, but it also kills people. So we have to accept the quarantine. The swine fever, these pigs also get fever sometimes. And I think that fever affects people also. And they come and kill the pigs. They come and kill them actually. The other time when there was the mad cow disease in the world, cows were killed. So therefore, economy cannot be at the expense of others. Make a false argument, which is because of poverty, because of this, because of this. Yes, but for you, if the chicken has a problem, the Baganda will take. But Mukasa in Runyankore is called Mugasha. He was a fisherman, became Mukasa. Borders, there is no just a problem. Then the logic would be, okay, let's help these people to go to another activity. So there is flexibility. There is no option. There is no alternative. You are dead. This one is irreversible. You cannot compare the irreversible I am doing if it has got this pandemic with anything else. It is which are causing infection are not together. Some of the people have gone back to the villages to cultivate. So don't compare uncomparables, because it confuses our people. You equate. So really, as leaders, we ought to be very, 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 very thorough in our logic. Now, this selfishness is really not acceptable. And now here, You remember some people had destroyed the lake. Destroyed the lake by bad fishing. They were making money. Than me now, but a year from this Nairobi. Apparently, what they are taking now is the meat, the bladder that has got special quality, the bladder of which helps to float in the water. The bladder. It is so expensive. One year is what he gets himself, even if it is at the expense of the whole country. This is not acceptable. So, therefore, on this, what we are doing, win-win solution, where the private person operates he also pointed out that the shilling was appreciating, was gaining value from them, and they are going to grow more. So I would like to thank especially the farmers producing more. I think our coffee exports have reached 7 million bags. This is the first time. The maize, the bananas. Bigger markets. But there are markets other which is Okudiba. It is a bit mixed up. Okay, it is here. It's not very clear here. It's 31 billion dollars. So it's quite a lot of, there are a lot of opportunities other than what is available here. So therefore, I want to congratulate our producers for the agricultural products. We now have a bit there, but the market is there. It is a question of changing our production strategy, not only producing the primary, but also the secondary. Now, finally, our minister, Jenna Cheng, got into some problem in Lira. Jenna Cheng is a good scientist. I found her I discovered her, like when Karambas discovered Speak, like when Speak discovered the Nile. When you found that we already knew where the Nile was. But he came and working, very dedicated. So I noted her, and then later on I brought her, because I could see that she was very committed. I brought her to the ministry. I said, you come and bring the devotion I saw in Lida, come and bring it in the headquarters here. And she worked there until when I made her a minister. Now, when I made her a minister, and this corona came, she, together with her team, they did a good job. Don't go to stand, because you don't need to, don't have to bother with those languages. To leave those languages on the medical work of the ministry. But when the corona came, together with her team, they did a good work. So the languages were so happy. When I was still there, I found that the languages have taken the lady to make her an MP. Now, this political, because she's used to, are respected. But when she went to distribute masks. I don't know whether it was a mask. But when she got there, but really, that's why you need to learn some experience. The other day, I stopped at the water near Tuburu, where the water is coming near the road, on the way to it gathered. What I did, I had to run away. So if somebody had taken a picture with the crowd, which I had not invited, which I had not wanted, they would have said Museveni has now violated COVID regulations. So I think Jane will explain in her own way, but I suspect, I don't think that she's the one who said, you come, and we have a rally. The problem was to put herself in a situation where these people were proud. The other day when I was going to Jinja for Chimaka, I went to Nakasonga, I just avoid stopping anywhere, because if I stop anywhere, people will. So that's what you, the leaders, you need to know, all of you. If you really want you care about your people, don't stop. Don't stop. Or if you are going to meet people, meet them in very controlled situations. When I went to Moroto for the marble factory, the leaders were all well controlled and so on, scattered city properly. When I went to Kasisi, the same. So now, if you don't have that type of control situation, until the virus is contained, please don't. She really is the one who called the meeting. Now saying, look at this one. She's a hypocrite. You are saying you shouldn't congregate, yet you are the one who called the meeting. I think she found herself, she put herself in a situation which she could not control. like happened with at Kitubur, but me, I ran away. I ran away. I just ran from those people. I ran and left them. So I thank you very much for today. Let's end here. I wish you good luck. We shall.